Lord, want to welcome to Recapping the Elite. We are now talking about AEW Dynamite and Rampage for this week. First, I'd like to thank everyone. With the exception of our All Out, but that was right after. We had already done the show. People don't want to hear us, I don't think, 2 days in a row. Keep going up, up, up. Maybe we can break the 200 mark this time and get some more subscribers. That would be awesome.
I think, even for that idea, we still got 100 and something for that all out one. So even with that, and last week in 2 days, we can add that together. That was like almost 300 views. So that's pretty good. But also, yeah, I get it. Thanks for anybody who actually comes and listens or watches.
And the next special won't be until Full Gear. I think that's November.
Yep.
This week, I got to say, this week was not bad. I thought Rampage had not jumping ahead, is a fucking dumb main event. Great opening match. I thought Dynamite was pretty good. I liked the Adam Cole segment. I liked some of the matches. I thought it was pretty good. I loved having Taz on the commentary booth Monday, and I loved me some Mark Henry last night dropping that knowledge.
Mark Henry. I think this week was pretty good too. And I also for Rampage, for what it is, I think for an hour, I think it was really well paced compared to it didn't feel too slow, it didn't feel too fast, which that's debatable if it could be too fast. But they put a little bit of promos in and all that stuff. It felt real good, this Rampage, even with a very short dark match feeling main event, just to have that ending. But we'll get into that. But
yeah, they had that flip flop. The opener should have been the main event. The main event should have been the opener. But it seems like Dynamite Rampage, they always seem to open with the main event first. I wonder if they want to hook the audience right away and just let them there for the hour. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Their main event is always the first match on that show.
I think it also involves which they could just cut it, but this is another one of those pre-recorded weeks. And it has to be because everyone's still like, they don't want to get the main event so stretched out. So Dynamite ends. We're going to give you a main event quality right off the get-go Rampage, while you can at least sound excited, please, before you get tired. So maybe that's what happened.
When Raw used to tape, like it was like 3 weeks worth of shows at once. I went to one of the tapings. So if you go on the network for 3 weeks, you can look at my pretty face in the front row. But what was hard is first you had the Sunday Night Heat, if you remember that show. You had Sunday Night Heat. So there's like 45 minutes. Then you had the first run. Then you had the next run. Then you had another run. Then you have an intermission. Now this thing that started at 6, now you're closing in on midnight. And, it's like, we've got more. And they still had like 3 dark matches. It was like, fuck, by the time the last dark match came out and it was The Undertaker, it was like, God, fuck, I want to go home. So at least I get why AEW does they're pacing these shows. You go to these tapings for this YouTube shit. At least they're trying to keep the audience, in check the whole time. They're not overly tiring you.
Right. When I went to a Raw, which was a couple years back, so it wasn't so heavy how that is. But we still sat through Raw, and then is it main event? I think that's their like that weird that one. Main event was going on.
Yeah, we had a main event at 205 Live, and yeah, it's still a long show. But the one thing I don't watch much WWE anymore. I kind of read about it. I can't watch it so bad. But the one thing I will still give them credit for, when their show goes to commercial, I hate fucking picture in picture. Rather you just go to a commercial, and 2, nothing happens during WWE commercials. Those guys are trained so well. We're at commercial, you stall, you're rolling around, you're playing to the crowd. You don't miss anything. I watch this picture in a picture, and there's so much action going on. It's like, you just got to time these segments better to lay it out, And I blame everyone but QT Marshall, because obviously I know he works backstage, but he ain't gonna fuck that up. That's all you, Khan. Yeah, you heard me.
Khan's the one that said he likes that stuff, so it makes you feel, like you said, it makes you feel like you don't want to miss out something. Like, I've heard mixed reviews on that, and I'm starting to not like it, but also like honestly, I guess I like keeping like that. It's small. It's a small window, but I do like. All right. They're still wrestling pretty good, I guess so. But like, they need to definitely work on timing of like, hey, we're gonna do a picture in picture, but trust me, it's only a 90-second picture in picture. Get those push out real quick ones, and then do those. They do some obviously deeper, longer commercials after, so might as well do that way.
Yeah, Rampage has it pretty good because even Shivani even stressed, we got to take a break. Only 90 seconds. You know, but Shivani also worked live TV for, God, so many years. He kind of knows, him and JR kind of know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, this week on Dynamite, you know, it opened, I mean, Dynamite opens hot. All their shows open hot. You know, they had a hot crowd and they opened right away with, and you and I were very excited. Malachi Black, who's got the Undertaker entrance. I think even Taz said you could run like a billboard ad during his entrance or something. Just Taz was commentating this week.
Yeah.
And Malachi fought, he's moving through the Nightmare family, moving through them fucking quick. He fought Dustin Rhodes this week. I thought that was a solid match, to be honest with you.
Yes, it was the best out of the Nightmare family. It was the best match they did. There was two spots. I don't know if there were little botches, like that one spot where Malachi was holding the ropes and then make it look like Dustin missed his power slam, and then they kind of go through the whole stick. Oh, I missed your kick, and you're gonna come back. Now I do the power slam. I don't know if that was like a little bit of a botch read. And then I also saw, thanks to TikTok, I didn't catch it in the moment, but his finisher was his hit Dustin's arm and not his head. So,
well, I know you and I were excited, and it's proof. It's proof that AEW officials are watching our show. Malachi brought out Cody's boot. He had the boot wasn't wearing it for some reason. He had it under the ring. They didn't want him to wear it because then they'd have known. We know. Watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, he brought the boot out. And Dustin hit his bulldogs, his power slams. They beat the shit out of each other. It was a real stiff match. I knew Goldust wasn't, I don't know why I always call him that, Blue Dust, I should say. I knew he wasn't going to get his ass handed to him like the others. You know, he put up a good fight, but Malachi is, he's one I really can't believe when the more I see him that they let him go, because he really is an Undertaker-like presence, and he's very talented. The crowd loves him. I mean, I know that Cody's beloved, but I don't think Malachi's getting booed in that fight in 2 weeks.
We'll see what they do for like a last promo before that. I don't know if I'm assuming Cody's going to come back tomorrow, this Wednesday, at least cut a promo. But I do agree, and then also I think out of the Nightmare family, this was probably the best match for Malachi to look better, because all the other ones were either young or just maybe like just not in that same form. Like Dustin, he can make you look, oh, I'm getting fucked up right here, and then they just get real close and they just were real good match. And then I do see what you mean about Undertaker. Like, he does have like that Undertaker presence, and also how he also fights, except instead of Undertaker's more of the boxer, this is obviously the kickboxer version of the Undertaker, which is cool. But like, yeah, I'm that's why I got a shirt coming. But yeah, it was a really good
House
one.
Of Black one.
Yes.
ProWrestlingTees.com.
ProWrestlingTees.com. Please sponsor.
I'm not wearing a wrestling shirt today. I'm repping Halloween today.
Spooky season.
Yeah, that's right. Good movie. For those of you who don't know, Halloween Kills. If you don't want to go see it in the theater due to the pandemic, we'll be streaming the exact same day on Peacock. But that's the old bit. See, I don't know. Did you watch Raw back in the day, back when it was still in the Manhattan Center before it got really popular? It was on USA, and Vince McMahon, he wasn't Mr. McMahon. No one knew. I mean, if you weren't smart, you didn't know he was the owner. You just thought he was the Duke commentator, and he'd be sitting there. And I remember there was always a movie after, and he would always plug it, and he'd be like, the match would be going on. He'd be like, "Hey, Randy, what does a hooker, a bank robber, and a cop have in common?" Like, I don't know, Vince. Sex, love, and cold hard cash. Yes, sex, love, and cold hard hash. Up next on the USA Network, there's always these shills for the movies. So that was my Vince McMahon shill there for a movie. It wasn't as good as Sex, Love, and Cold Hard Cash, which actually was a real shill. Watch out. I like this match. I would have liked to seen a little blood in this match, though, to be honest with you, because Dustin, I'm very used to Dustin gushing blood in all his matches. He likes to blade.
Yeah, I do, but I do think it. I think they also were 2 weeks too late about the boot. I'm glad to see the boot that we were doing it, but yes, I do wish they should have done that. Every time he beat the guy, they just set the boot on the guy's chest. If they're going to keep it underneath the fucking ring, but yeah,
Cody mustn't have been there because I would have think the logical would have been to him just after the match just start beating the shit out of Dustin, just destroying and busting him open, and then Cody comes to make the save. But Cody must have been his last week to film. But I mean, they got him coming back at a good time. He's coming back at that big Arthur Ashe Stadium show in a couple weeks. So that's going to be the one Daniel Bryan was supposed to debut in. So I mean, that's going to be I'm anxious to see how they do in New York, because that's a hot market. That I think is going to be a real fun TV show.
yeah, let's see.
I would give the match a B. I can't give it an A, but I definitely give it a B.
Yeah, I'd B, like a solid B, almost B minus, just because of some spots, but also it wasn't even long enough to downgrade it more than like those couple spots. But it was B, good solid B.
Up next was Punk, and Punk did what you and I were bitching about. That playing to the crowd again. He comes out and he's just like, "Oh man, Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole are all elite." Like, what the fuck are you talking about that for? What about that Ruby Soho? It all out. It's such cheap pops. This is worse than Mick Foley's. Hello Chicago cheap pop shit. Then he sees the Pillman family, which you got to wonder, what the fuck are these people doing here? You get to that later. And it's like, and they point to the fucking whoever raised the kids. Was it the aunt or the grandma? Whatever. It's like, oh, I saw the dark side of the ring, Linda. Oh, I could kiss you. Look at you. And all. And then that's when Taz, now it's revealed why Taz is in the booth. It had me cracking up. He gets up. He's like, why are you always talking about Team Taz, Punk? Why are you always talking about us? I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I never mentioned you. Why are you always talking about us? I'm tired of you. And he said what we've been saying. I'm tired of you, playing to the crowd and all that. And then, that's when Punk did the old Taz motto, how about you beat me if you can, survive if I let you. But it didn't sound as good. But I loved how Taz came up and just randomly, why are you always talking about us? I guess never once mentioned you. I thought that was hilarious.
Why are you talking down to us? You didn't say your name.
I didn't say anything to you. But that would explain why Taz was a commentator to set that up. But I mean, who are you going to put Punk with? I mean, Hobbs would fucking destroy him. Hook don't wrestle. To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing Taz step out of retirement. That would be good.
Some other things happened this week that we'll walk right into this. But one also, Taz is on the announcer table because apparently X-Cow was getting married. So congratulations to him. But that's what I thought. I'm like, are they trying to tease like Hook's going to be his first match going to be against CM Punk? But this week, apparently, one of those other websites was saying that Brian Cage's wife is speaking out and saying, hey, my husband's being misused.
Yeah.
And then you just said it. Who would be tag team with CM Punk, who's been feuding with Team Taz? I think Brian Cage tag team with CM Punk is a good use of him. And no offense to her, no offense to Brian, because I know Brian is a very nice guy. I know it could have been a misinformed statement. But obviously, please keep your voice down. You might be ruining your chances for your husband's chance of getting a fucking moment with CM Punk.
Yeah, don't be the fucking new Reby Hardy. Don't. No, she said it. I saw the tweet. Underutilized, misused, everything, and
this guy opened up. He came out on the 2019 Battle Royale, won it. He also had a very good. I mean, it was pre-recorded, but the Sting match, okay, he might be. It might be a little. I don't even think like that. The Team Taz thing was a good idea until they thought, hey, we should screw Brian Cage off of having the FTW belt. And then just right now, we're still in that weird limbo, and you can't give them AEW. Well, you can, but AEW does have those weird stagnant times of we got to figure out a storyline with you, and maybe we'll work something out. But also, like, it just takes a little bit longer for them. But then once it starts, they do some pretty good feuds. Just I don't think it's just rough. I think I think you're getting nervous before a good payout, like, because I think Brian Cage to help CM Punk's going to be a really good payoff for Brian Cage, and then maybe get him off this, hit him so hard that Team Taz can at least fade away, so Brian Cage can also ascend from that too.
I like Brian Cage. I interviewed him. Nice. Not too often. He's a busy guy. I talked to him on DM messages. He's not to ruin the mystique of Brian Cage. Brian Cage is a nice guy. He likes comic books, video games, horror movies. Generally, any discussions he and I have ever had are never wrestling related. Very much PlayStation, movie related stuff. I will agree that I think he's a little underutilized. I mean, don't get me wrong, and this is me saying it, not him. He's on national TV. He's a superstar. He's on pay-per-views. So I don't want to say he's underutilized, but if you watch him, he's a big son of a bitch. I mean, he's got to be over 270. He's got to be pushing 300, 6 something. But he moves like a luchador. I mean, he's like a better Mike Awesome. I mean, he is so good. I've said before, I don't want to see him fighting. And nothing against Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see two big bastards hitting each other. That time, that generation is long past. I'd like to see Cage go in there with a Christian Cage, with a Kenny Omega, with an Adam Cole, because I think the matches would be awesome. I would say he's underutilized, not by talent, but who he's with. But then again, wrestling's all a work. How do we know that they didn't tell his wife to say that and they'll make an angle out of it? I mean, my God, when Lita got caught fucking Edge, when she dumped Matt Hart, they made an angle out of it. I mean,
that's also Vince's stick.
Yeah, I have to take all that kind of shit, especially what goes on Twitter, with a grain of salt, because you would think if she started some shit, and I don't know Melissa, I know she was the announcer for Lucha Underground, beautiful, beautiful woman. You think if she was like, God, I'm mad, you think Cage would be like, don't be fucking up my chances, delete that, I mean, or you think she would have asked first, just like I said, everything's a work, so I don't know. Underutilized in the sense of who he fights, yes. As far as the talent, no, because he's all over TV. I think, like you said, CM Punk and him, that'd be a good team. And Punk kind of proved to me he's still got some, whether any fan will admit or not, he's still a little rusty. So, working a few tag matches, kind of like they had Darby and Sting, that's to protect people, and you could have if you're gonna do a tag, Hobbs and Punk wouldn't be a match. Hobbs could be in there kind of with Ricky Stark. You could have a Cage in there. Punk could get a hot tag and hit his few finishing moves. It'd be a good way to do it.
Not because of that, like, just for wrestling styles. That's why it's not that interesting. Like you said, Brian Cage, he is nimble like a luchador, and then and Hobbs is just more that which, hey, that's how he's built. He just plays the big guy. So. Yeah. CM Punk going against Will Hobbs would be really rough looking, because could you imagine a rusty, because he's rusty, can we all, like, everyone who listens should agree, CM Punk's rusty. Could you imagine him picking up Hobbs to go to sleep? He would have he'd have a hernia as big as Hobbs.
Fuck yeah, because that's a big guy.
So this idea of get Cage out there, I think, honestly, this would have been a better feud, like the Darby Allin thing, but I'm really glad. I think they're smart. I think at the end of the day, when I'm looking back at this, CM Punk versus Team Taz is a very good outlook. It does go against what he came out and said, I'm here to work with the new guys, so I'm going to do a feud with Taz, technically. You know what I mean? Even though there's a bunch of young blood underneath the Team Taz name, but it is kind of funny off the get-go. But yeah.
Then I like how Taz always says, I'm coach of the year. Taz, he as a wrestler in ECW, I bought into the gimmick. I liked him. WWE exposed that he's, no offense, Taz, like Jerry Lawler said, I got socks taller than you. You're not a tough guy. You know, ECW, everybody believed you were. You're not. You're a hell of an announcer. You're a hell of a manager. You're a hell of a talker. I like the role he's in. You know, I like, I don't, it's nice. He has his kid on TV who serves absolutely no purpose. But
Yet.
Ricky Starks, I don't think can talk worth a shit. Hobbs can't say 2 words. Cage's interviews never were that great. You know, no offense. Taz is, I like how AEW, God, you know, this guy can't talk good. Let's put him with someone who can. I do like, because that's the old school style from when I was a kid. You know, that's why you had managers. Hey, this guy's really good, but he can't talk. Give him somebody who can. It's not a hard formula. WWE does not do that. They just have people reading scripts, and it's stupid. So Taz is a good mouthpiece for these guys. Punk is a good talker. He's getting. I want him to be done with the pandering. I'm sick of the whole fucking. I love you people. It's not him. I don't like it. I understand if he's happy, but fuck, shut up. Build a feud.
Yeah, no, that's I agree. I'm like, it gets. I don't get it. I like, you really need to, like, Cincinnati was a pretty hot crowd for all these venues. Michigan, when they come to Michigan, we'll be piping hot because it's our first time in AEW. Now, if you're going to pander, you should have them pandering in Florida. I'll give it Texas, because Texas, they've at least been there multiple times. Like, this whole, like, let's stir the pot and make it nice and hot for fucking Cincinnati, who we just got there, and they got, like, I don't think, was it sold out? I'm pretty confident. It was sold out. You know what I mean? We are chomping at the bit for you. New York, they're very opinionated. That'd be a great one also to get them out there and say, hey, thank you for coming out, blah, 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 blah. But these smaller venues like Cincy, and also, like I said, I wish they come to Detroit. I'm waiting for them to come to Detroit.
I'm waiting for him to come here. You know, eventually it's going to have to happen, or COVID will just lift and I'll just make the 5-hour drive to Chicago and go see one of the shows.
Yeah, no, but the idea of, like, it just makes me, as a person, just like your kid, I don't have no background with CM Punk. So when I'm seeing this guy who's like, you like me, you really like me, I'm like, I hope Team Taz squashes you. You know what I mean, at that moment. But yeah, he goes into the next match, was like, but
well, then they had to do another interview, though. I believe, wasn't that when Ruby Riott, or what's her name now, Ruby Soho, she's in the back, and then she says like 2 words, and Britt Baker has to come out. And then, you know, she, well, I broke her in and all that, and it, you know, it sets the feud, which now I have to agree with you 100%. The whole point, even though wrestling's predetermined, the whole thing that we heard for years, still hear it. You put in the work. You put in the work. She came over. She's getting a title shot right away. I mean, granted, she's more talented than 90% of that woman's roster, but she just got there. She's got to work her way through. You know, I don't know. Britt's gang is the hottest women. Britt, Rebel, or Rebel, whatever she fucking calls herself, and Hater. Goddamn, those are 3 beautiful women. So they can be on TV all they want. But, you know, once again, here's the weird thing. People love Ruby Soho because she was Ruby Riott. And, you know, it's obviously the same people, you know, watch WWE. But Britt Baker don't get booed. Britt Baker is a heel, 100% heel. Nobody's booing her. So they've got to do a flip-flop here pretty quick, or their faces are going to start getting booed. Their faces are getting booed against her. People really love her.
How I word it, it could be going into that smart crowd or the smart fans. Like, again, like, I agree. I don't like that they do it, but also it ruins the predetermined events unless they're really going to put the title on Ruby, which it would not be a good idea. But you want to break her in, give her this weird storyline, which, again, it goes into this broken thing, but also, like, any way they can so that her what's the card, what's it called, their scorecard or whatever their record is, their wrestling record, she's gonna have stupid. she has 2 wins right now, but also one of them's trio, so that doesn't count for some spots of those when they do those weird brackets. Granted, she's done all the pins. It goes into like that. It just miscommunicates how you expressed a year and a half of AEW.
What's really stupid is the win-loss record gimmick. They reset it at the beginning of the year. What the fuck's it matter? So you can be a loser all year and be a winner next year. That whole, I get that they do it for the big fight feel, but you could just do that on a pay-per-view, the tail of the tape, and you do the reach and the weight and the record of it. But to always come up with 13-1 and it's not real. I get why they do it. I just think it's kind of dumb because there you have she won a battle royal, #1 contender. Then you see another girl 13-0. It's on fucking YouTube. And it's dumb.
There's some weird miscommunications going on right now because like then it goes into like the trio of which is a very interesting trio that they're gonna have. Ruby, they had her work for Rampage / was built on Dynamite, which was another. That was why Rampage had probably one of the better matches. It had a great set of people working it. It was Rio, Ruby, Chris Statlander.
Love Chris.
And they had the whole Britt Baker gang. And then I was like, this is a great match. I don't know why. Like I could watch Jamie Hayter and mistreat Rio for a couple more minutes for some reason, but like, I don't know if it's me or whatever.
Oh, that was, I don't even want to know if I call that a segment. It was just a few sentences, just enough to give a breath to get Powerhouse Hobbs out there. And it was Dante Martin, I believe, I like that kid. That kid is talented. He hits amazing moves. And Powerhouse Hobbs has about 175 pounds on him. And Powerhouse Hobbs is going to win. But here was my only issue with this match. It needed to be a squash because in real life, it'd be a fucking squash. And you want to build Powerhouse Hobbs as a big monster. Dante Martin's small. He's more of he's probably smaller than Phoenix and Penta. More of a Fuego del Sol type guy. He had 70% of the match. Granted, I like to see all his moves. Like I said, he's very talented. He gave Powerhouse Hobbs, he was kicking his ass. So it made him look really strong, but to me, it made Hobbs look weak. And Hobbs supposed to be your big enforcer guy. At least Wardlow looks tough. Hobbs looks stupid in this match. Like I said, I think this kid's talented. There's other people I'd way rather see him fight than Powerhouse Hobbs, but I didn't really think much of the match. You knew Hobbs was going to win, but it wasn't a squash. I don't know what it was. It was a time killer to me. It's like watching the guy hit a few moves.
I'm more surprised you said that because maybe it's because it was a pitcher-in-pitcher moment. Hobbs was working them pretty good through the pitcher-in-pitcher, which is not fair for anybody to then not have this judgment. But I'm more surprised they used that kid as his opponent because, hey, I know he lost this match, I'm going to say, but like, man, he was being praised by people. They have him have a match with Kenny Omega and had highlighted all these high flying, jumping off the rope. He is a little bit, I think he's bigger than Ray Phoenix. He's probably smaller than Penta in like size because obviously he might be taller than him, but I think Penta's a little bit more thicker. But I digress. But then to have him go, zero miedo, but have him then go into a squash match with Hobbs, which at the end of the day they're both dark match guys. But then to have him on TV go against Kenny Omega and have a pretty good match to go into this like squash match. I think they have a lot more people in the back room that could be the squasher the squashee for Hobbs for this new, we're going to push Team Taz because CM Punk's going to touch him. Because, you know what I mean? That's the only part I didn't like. It was an okay squash match. I think it was very fair. I think it was 50-50 if you count the pitcher-in-pitcher part. Because that part, during pitcher-in-pitcher, I think Hobbs threw him into the fence twice. Like, we're all right, pick him up. Let's do it one more fucking time. And then the pitcher came back in and we saw the results. But yeah.
See, and it shows to me the inconsistency of AEW in the sense, here's the guy, and I'll give you a perfect example. Not only this guy, he's got the big match with Kenny. He's getting praised. He's getting pushed, squashed to Hobbs. Let's look at Moxley. Moxley is the champ for, over 200 days. He loses to Omega. He has rematches with Omega. They have the exploding barbed wire match. Now he's fighting people that you don't even fucking know. It's like, he's not a contender for nothing. He's not in a feud. They do that with a lot of guys. Or they'll take a guy like Kingston. This guy's just kind of around. He's going to fight Miro. There's some of their guys, they kind of, I don't think they know how to utilize certain people good enough. Not saying he's underutilized, but how do you go from here to off the grid, and how do you go from off the grid to all the way up here? It's kind of like a flavor of the mic. It's like, I like this guy. Let's put him on TV. Yeah, we're done with him. Like, I like Joey Janela. He was all over TV. Where the fuck is he now? He's on Dark once in a while. I think they've kind of got the case that they have so many people they don't know what to do with them.
I would love to know if we could ever figure out a way to get, like, I'm going to say a name, but I think it's just, I want somebody who's been there since day one, and Pi has more of the wrestling connections. But I'd like to have, like, Aubrey Edwards to come on for, like, even like a 15-20 minute little interview and just ask her, like, is it like something like the wrestlers like with John Moxley? So he had a great run on WWE or AEW, almost AEW
JR
rematch. Actually did rematch, but then now he's like, does it go into, is he doing the better communication with Khan? Like, hey, you can use me on, have everybody sing Wild Thing, whatever. But I really want to focus on getting in some New Japan work / like GCW. They have it now on October. I think it's in October. They
just set up the big death match with him and Gage.
Yes, and then there's an aftermath with Suzuki. I saw.
Have Gage jump him. He's already been on your TV. Your crowd knows him now. He cut up Jericho.
Yeah,
it's better. Have him do the same with Mox.
It might happen. That might happen. Who knows? Maybe that might happen in New York, because obviously I think New York's very gang related sounding. They like that shit. So, and it's also near Atlantic City.
Yeah, say GCW is real big on the East Coast, but you have a working relationship. If you're letting your guys go back and forth, put it to use. I mean, for all you know, there might be the GCW crowd. I always use them for example. They are a smart crowd. They're the new ECW crowd. Smart crowd, bloodthirsty crowd, but they're a very passionate crowd. Gage can't get through that fucking curtain without 100 fans just jumping him and mobbing him. And they love him. Put him on AEW. Put a couple of these other guys on AEW. Get the 44 Ohio guys on there. That crowd will follow you. It can only make your product bigger.
That's why I want the Aubrey Edwards thing to come over. I just want to hear, like, somebody on the back room say, no, this is why we do it. And then this is why we also have, like, big names be misused. I just want to hear, like, I want to know how the sausage is made on these some couple conversations, because I have been noticing, maybe it's how TikTok algorithms work on me. I've been getting a lot of either people who are very AEW, or a lot of people who get the pick and prod and show, like, they're a promotion that gets a fan blind eye. And I do see their points, but I want to know if there's something that's going on in the back room, or Tony is very understanding, like, yeah, you want to do some shit right here. Great idea. Pushed it, like, but also, like, I just want to know where it is. I want to know how or why they do these weird misuse, or like alter people that don't need to be leaving, or like idea, like all that dumb shit. I just like to hear that stuff, but yeah.
Okay, we're going to try to get Aubrey Edwards on the show.
Okay.
We'll see. If anybody out there watching us knows Aubrey Edwards, let's see if we can get Aubrey Edwards on the show. Better yet, let's just get Tony Khan on the show.
Yeah, we'll work. Let's try Tony.
We're going to work on that. The next few segments, I don't really have much to see. Yeah, that fucking Dan Lambert. Yeah, you soft woke people, and I don't get where I don't care where it's going. It's fucking stupid. This is Scorpio's guy. I don't know. He was up in the box. I had no comment on it. Waste of time. That's when I went and took a piss.
Yes, I don't give a shit either. It was what is it? They're smart. They put him in a fucking box so no one can fucking get next to him because it's so annoying.
And then you had the segment with Matt Hardy, teasing about cutting Orange Cassidy's hair like he's fucking Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Orange Cassidy does not have much more hair than me, and I'm fucking bald. It's like he thinks he's so cool running his hair. Maybe it's going to set up an old, which I haven't seen, God, forever. Last time I saw was probably Mexican wrestling. A hair versus hair match. Orange and Matt. The payoff would definitely be neat to see Matt get his head shaved because he's always had the long hair. I can't see Orange cutting it, but usually if you do a hair versus hair match, you have two people with long hair, or you do a hair versus mask. Orange Cassidy does not have much hair. He just always goes like this, just because it's part of the shtick. But it's like, always look cool. I'm going to cut your hair. It's like, once again, here's a guy who a few months ago is main eventing a pay-per-view, undefeated, going against Kenny Omega for the title. Now he's got some problems with the Hardy gang. It's just it's backwards. This guy had beat Jericho. He's going after Omega. Now Matt Hardy's elevation guys are going after him. It's almost like, we need you to hold this in place until Trent gets back because fucking no one likes Wheeler Yutan. He serves no purpose. I fucking hate the guy. No offense to him. I miss Trent.
I mean, I don't know when they're gonna. Did they even say like we're teasing it for something the hair versus hair? Like, is it for full gear? Like we're gonna tease you all the way to fucking November, or is it hopefully?
That's all I can figure. Why would you be doing a thing where you're talking about how you're gonna cut a guy's hair, especially if you got long? All I can see is it sets up a hair versus hair match, or it's just filler. Because like I said, here's your guy. The boss loves Orange Cassidy. He takes pictures with him. He says that's his favorite. This is your guy that's beating Jericho. He's main eventing Omega. He's getting title shots. Now he's with the Hardys. Have him go after Miro or something. It just shows you. It's like, good Lord, how do you go from up here to not on the radar? I love Orange. I like watching him. He's good, but he's better than this.
I'm going to be a little. I agree, but I think wonder for this whole conversation we just held it, like, is it the right way to do it when you have so many people go over, like just to have them just make some of these stupid storylines because like, and then give somebody the proper push or whatever. Again, I don't know the answer because also like some stuff feels misused. So I'm like, Orange Cassidy helped the pandemic time. There's no fans around and all the shit. And he also had matches with fans, but beat Jericho, had pretty decent Kenny Omega matches. And then just now he's been out more as a manager for the women's for no reason. And like had that weird heat up on that during the pay-per-view. You get it and like all that stuff. But
I like when Vicky screamed in his face and he was like, I mean, I like the kid is really talented. This is the case where I think I'm just bitter that I want to see him, maybe not a heavyweight champion. I'd like to see him as a TNT champion. I'd like to see him as something.
Yeah.
One of the faces of the company. I think that's fair to say. He was voted most popular wrestler in the world last year, for God's sakes.
No, true. I don't know. There's some things that I want to just have, those are the questions I want to know. I don't know if anybody who's listening even is works for any workers for AEW. You want to just give us like put a comment down, put it as anonymous or send it to an anonymous way of just saying, listen, there's reasons why we do it this way. We do it this way for this X, Y, Z. I just was curious.
Next, this was an interview heavy show because up next we got another interview segment. We got MJF for no reason comes down with Ward. I think they're teasing the whole thing with Wardlow turning on him because he even said, why don't you help me like you helped me Sunday? Go stand in the corner and look pretty and all that. But the Pillman family was in the crowd. MJF had me cracking up. He looked at the girl Pillman. I don't even know their names. I don't care.
His sister.
The sister, he called her, he's 16 and pregnant. And he said he was going to hit the lady. And then what he says, like, I'm going to do what your father should have done. I'm going to abort your ass. And just the most despicable stuff you could say. And I love how the announcers sell it. Like, this little bastard, this damn rat. I mean, they're really selling that you need to hate this kid. And it's hard. I can't hate him. He's so funny. Which that's set up for Brian Pillman Jr., guy with a terrible mullet. Wow, your dad was Brian Pillman. That's great. Who are you? He comes down and he actually kind of looked like shit. He's beating up MJF. Wardlow just comes, one hand, picks him, throws him off, goes and stands back. He jumps MJF again. Wardlow, one hand, picks him up, throws him off. It was just like, so I'm thinking, okay, this is going to set up MJF versus Junior on Rampage. It didn't. It didn't. It was MJF making fun of the family for like a good 5 minutes, which was hysterical. And then he gets jumped by a guy whose primary career is on Dark and Elevation, who I guess now, because of the popularity of the Dark Side of the Ring Pillman special, is now going to be pushed. He's not a good talker. He's young. I mean, he's I don't know. There's a lot of other people I'd rather see pushed than Brian Pillman Jr. No offense to him, but yeah, your dad was Brian Pillman. Great. I remember your dad. He was, I'm going to get heat for this. He was fucking upper mid Carter at best. He was never a main event guy in my eyes.
I don't have I have no connection to his dad, but it just like we've been saying, it's not, even the announcers say it. Down the road, he's going to be a great wrestler, but he's just very young. And again, it goes into like that. I mean, I don't know the stories, the backstory, but clearly, obviously, there's a reason why you also go by, you make sure you go by Pillman Jr. So just so we all on the same page. But then the idea of, I thought we're at least going to, like, is this storyline going to continue? Is it just like this Cincinnati thing? We're going to drop it? Or because I like this. I thought in my eyes, granted, whatever you want to say about Pillman, but I thought this would be a great little, just give us an actual Dynamite, or hopefully next Rampage. Give us a match of MJF versus Pillman Jr. Get MJF a little bit more ring time, because he just needs it so he's not so fresh. And then Pillman could definitely use the mic work, because like how even MJF used, you're going to go on the mic against MJF, and it clearly showed. And then I think it'd be good for both of them, because of just benefiting both of them somehow. Hey, Brian, you do an all right ring because you're very young, and then that's what you've been focused on. You don't really do that good mic work. MGF does great mic work, and he's okay. Some people say okay on the ring.
I just give him an okay in the ring. Give him a 5-star on the mic. Give him about a 2.5 in the ring. But he's young. I suppose he was 26 years old. He can only get better. But yeah, what? Great talker. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. He's getting a push, which he should, because of that mouth. I mean, I think I even got here some of the stuff he said. Let's see if he said anything. Blah, blah, blah. Beat Chris Jericho. Blah, blah, blah. Marks. Ohio's a dumpster fire.
All mid.
Yeah, all he did was made fun of the mom, everything. I mean, and
Skyline Chili mid.
Yeah, it was funny. And then I liked the segment. I just, like I said, I get it. Oh, we're in Ohio. But here's the funny thing. They're in Ohio, the hometown of the fucking Pillmans. Did Junior get that big of a pop? I know they made it out like, oh my God. I didn't hear that loud ovation for the kid. No offense to him. I don't think the crowd was that into him.
He had a pander to the crowd about, this is Cindy, welcome to the jungle and shit, but it's just, I don't know. That's why it's, like I said, I don't know why you chose, like, hey, we're in Cincy, we're going to do like a small Cincy segment with Pillman since he's here, but like you haven't give Pillman a proper, at least, pedestal to walk out there and say, hey, I'm here, guys, don't worry. And then what was it? Because like just because you had the varsity blondes during the tag team qualifications before All Out. No. That's not how you do it.
And then after that, I actually had to look because it was the Ruby Soho Jamie Hayter match. This is an okay match. I've said 100 times I'm not a good one when it comes to recapping the women's fights in AEW. I don't think they're all that great. This was okay. You had two of the more talented people, and you're at least pushing something. She's got that. She's the number one contender to Britt, and now she's fighting one of Britt's underlings, and they had a good match. Ruby's very talented. I can't say she's not. I wonder how much Tony Khan's paying for her music, but hope he don't go losing too much money buying all these songs for his people. But it was okay. I mean, it was what it needed. It was a women's television match. It was
really good. Jamie Hayter is, like I said, is really good in the ring, and then also having Ruby Soho have give credit where credit's due, but like that WWE way of actually knowing how to present a match and like sell it, like it just did really well. TV match, a really good TV match.
Yeah, it fit its purpose. I'm having to page down because then you had the Pinnacle, which was basically it was FTR and I got to look it up. It was Spears against my man Johnny Hungy, Silver, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. All this match, anybody in the right? I like the Dark Order. I like funny Dark Order. I like when they're on Being the Elite. I like all that stuff. Anybody that thought the Dark Order was going to fucking win this match is high as a kite. I don't care how big a fan you're. It's all to set up the whole the inside view. This people said let Page go fuck himself. He said they didn't even say that. It's like Uno and his little group. Page wants to be left alone. Let's leave him alone. Where John and his group. Well, no, we want to be with Page. We want to help him. So now they don't like each other.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the payoff down the road, like everyone says, Bray Wyatt will come in because of that Brody Lee connection. Won't be Bray Wyatt. I hate to break your heart, fans. He don't own the name Bray Wyatt. He don't own the fame. Rotunda. I don't know what IRS Junior. I don't know what the fuck he'll be. But and I kind of see, I'm going to get the Dark Order back on track. You got to leave them though as a comedy group. You can't be a comedy group for 2 years and then be serious. It's not going to work. These guys are funny. I don't know.
I wish they had Colt Cabana kind of step up and become the face, because he has at least the right cred of the sense that he has, boom boom Colt Cabana, like that shit. So he does do some really good matches, and they also go into the humor side of the matches too. So I think it could alter both. I think it's odd that they're using Anna Jay as like the voice of reasoning. Come on, guys, we're a family. Like when you have Colt right there, that who could he does a podcast, right? I think he can talk. So I just don't understand why Colt's in the background going like this. What? No way. Evil Uno did that. Wow. Like either they're trying to break it up so that the people who have got recognition through being the Dark Order can spawn off, and to be honest, because of how big this fucking roster is, fall to the waistline for no reason. I don't think it's a good idea.
No, that group, and I like that group. My son likes that group.
I like the Dark Order.
I paid for the Pro Wrestling Tees. God, we plug the shit out of these guys. They do those U-shoots, and I had before my son started middle school. John Silver, he loves John Silver. John Silver, I paid the $40, $50, maybe 60, I don't know, to record one of the U-shoots for my son, and he even said, he's like, I think you can be in the Dark Order and all that, and it's funny, but that's it. These guys are funny. And I think I've seen a lot of indie stuff, a lot of guerrilla stuff with Uno. Uno's really good. All of them are very talented. I can't say they're not. You can laugh at them all you want. They're very talented. Apart, if they split them up, what you got is a whole team of fucking losers you'll never see again. That's really the case of they need each other, so to speak. And the gimmick works. They have shirts, they have merchandise, people buy it, people love them.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do the whole thing where, here's where I get into the thing where they might be taking too long. I know it's all a setup for somebody to reunite them. Well, it better be fucking Adam Page with the way you're going. I mean, goddamn, how much time do you need off? Your wife even have that kid yet? But Wyatt's under a no compete. You ain't seeing him till around November. I can't take 2 months of the Dark Order arguing with each other. It's it's going to get old before there's a payoff. And that's what you got to remember. Whoever their savior, if everyone's waiting for Wyatt to be the savior, he's still got about 2 months before he can do anything.
Hopefully, after Cody comes back, maybe Malachi makes the Dark Order the House of Black.
See, and that was you got to speed it up.
There's a rumored House of Black members that are already there that would be crazy and like involve Malachi having Abaddon become one of her, like the House of Black members. I can't remember who's the other person off the hand, but Butcher and the Blade had the Butcher and Blade leave Hardy's and become House of Black members. Now that would be another cool little another group of people in this goddamn full group of wrestling promotion, but that'd be a pretty cool one too. But that was all rumored. We'll see if that even happens. But that trio wasn't the end, right? That wasn't the final match.
Oh no, because you still had to go to yet another. I think then you had Tully Blanchard do his interview, and he kind of alluded to I'm going to fight Sting. Please don't. Please, Tully, you were not that talented in fucking 82. I can't imagine your 70-year-old ass. No offense to you. No, I won't even say no offense. You're a fucking old man. You're skinny. You clearly are just a manager. I don't want to see you fight Sting. And goddamn, I don't want to see Sting fight unless he's with Darby, because you need to. Sting is another one. Sting can go. I'd love to be 60-something years old and be able to do a fucking Stinger splash and all that stuff. But Sting, he needs to be in a match where there's other people around him, just so he can hit the few big moves, to showcase him. There ain't a person alive that maybe you want to see Sting punch Tully. You won't convince me there's a person alive that wants to see those two have a match. I won't be convinced of it.
Yeah, me neither.
And then, and after that interview, this was an interview show. We had another interview. Now the Elite come out, they bring out Adam Cole, and I loved when Cole looked at Shivani and went, I know you're real close with Britt Baker, but you so much look at her the wrong way. I'm going to beat your ass. Get out of my ring, nerd. I like that he alluded to, hey, this guy's kind of making the moves on my woman. I want everybody to know. I like that. The only downside I have with this is, and it can't be helped, Adam Cole is fucking over. It's the Elite. They're getting booed. I mean, they're booing Omega. They're booing the Bucks. They're not booing fucking Cole. So you got to be worried if whoever Cole fights, is he going to be the bad guy? I mean, you can change that, but Cole's over. He could talk.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Bryan comes down.
Yeah.
And fucking Omega. And here's what's so dumb. There's a whole gang of these people. Bryan just comes down like, fuck, none of you can beat me. And that's when Kenny goes, everybody leave. Give me the ring. I hate Kenny on the mic. Give me the ring for a minute. And I never thought Bryan was that good on the mic. Yeah, I'm better than you. And here comes the fight. Here comes Jurassic Express again. We gotta get them on TV. And here we go to what you always say, putting in the work. Daniel Bryan, they had a fucking match. Goddamn, he's already in the program with Omega. Here's what's it gonna be? Here's his record: 0-0-0, and he's fighting fucking Kenny. I mean, not that it wouldn't be an amazing match, but the booking as of late does kind of go against the whole philosophy of work your way up. You're right as the contender. This guy just mouthed his way into a match. If that was the case, they should all do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have it like this next Dynamite. They have Adam Cole's actually going to wrestle against Frankie Kazarian.
Mm-hmm.
So
that should be a good match.
I think it'll be a really and probably one of the better Kaz matches that's been happening lately for him. So good on for both of them. But I thought also like Daniel Bryan or Brian, you might want to be careful saying I'm better than you. That's somebody else's shtick. And he actually earned that here. So I would not be saying I'm better than you. But I really I don't know why. I don't know if it's him. I think it goes into, like you said, is it his mic work? Is that his personality? Like just to be I'm here, aren't I? I'm Bryan Danielson. He doesn't really do that much of like trying to sell himself anymore because and then everybody I've talked to who are AEW fans, but also like they don't like that Bryan Danielson. He feels like a sore thumb to me compared to everybody else. But also, I think it's because of how I get everyone who has left lately has been very thankful to WWE, which they should.
Oh
But
yeah, that made him
Brian,
money. It made him
but
stars.
but Bryan Danielson is like he looks like a narc compared to everybody else. Like he would be someone coming in and then going to this, hey Vince, and then like that. Not
Because his
saying he is.
his wife works over there. His fucking father-in-law works over there. I mean,
Yeah.
here's my bitch with him. He's talented. I won't say he's not. I don't think he's God's gift to wrestling. Like a lot of people. Bryan Danielson did not wrestle for many years because he's had like 9 or 10 serious concussions. He's had seizures because of these concussions, blackouts. Just, but he somehow he got a doctor to clear him because he really wants to wrestle. And he always said Vince was very overprotected of him. Good for you, Vince. I would not hire you. I'm not saying that you're not a grown man, you can't make your own decisions. Penta, Phoenix, Omega, these three are off the top of my head. These fuckers kick you. They're talented. They can make it look good without, really knocking the shit out of you. But if you've had that many concussions, do you want what happened to Bret Hart where Goldberg kicks him his fucking head once and that's the end of a whole stoic career? It could be the end of your life. If this guy has had that many concussions, this many issues, I wouldn't have hired him. I mean, I know people don't want to hear that, but this is a guy's got kids, a wife, kids, family. You want him to get kicked real hard in the head and be a vegetable the rest of his life? It's not
Is it
worth
concussions? Because I thought his last run on WWE before like he got the clearance to wrestle. I thought it was like he had that same, I don't know the right treatment, but like the Stone Cold Steve Austin like neck problem, like you could fuse it and that kind of definitely takes out your whole wrestling career.
Yeah, I
And then
mean, they say, oh, you're clear. You got the doctor cleared you, and we just got to be careful with you. Is it worth it? I mean, you're married to a fucking, even if, let's say, and I'm not saying he didn't, let's say Daniel Bryan pissed away all his money, which I'm sure he didn't. He seems like he lives a very fucking hippie life, vegan lifestyle. Let's say he had no money, didn't have 50 cents. You're married to a goddamn Bella. You don't need the job. I'm sure she has money. She still does. They still do that stupid ass. I hate the Bellas. Still do that stupid ass reality show and all that. But like I said too, he looks like a narc. It's got to be very awkward. My wife works for you. John Laurinaitis is his father-in-law. He works for you. I'm over here now. I just don't want the guy to get hurt. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan, but this is a guy with a wife. This guy with kids. This guy with a family. I don't want to see him get kicked in the head by somebody and then on national TV fucking shit himself and forget who he is. It's not worth it. I don't. And plus, if you have to be and this is a shitty thing to say, if you have to be careful, which in WWE, he had really good matches with Kofi and that, and they were very cautious. Do you want to see a cautious match with this guy and Ray Phoenix? You want to see Kenny Omega not doing all the crazy moves? I mean, you can suffer quality too. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want him to be okay.
Bryan Danielson said he got the clearance to even go do some Japanese spots through WWE. So there are some things that are going on. I do not know, it's behind the curtains. Also that's his personal endeavors and what he chooses to write his contract on. But again, like you're saying, even for a clear neck thing and not like the concussions, but if your neck thing, that's like a look at Kenny's wrestling shtick. V triggers, snapdragon suplexes, which are I don't know if those are more safe, but they just look fierce, but also involves your hand, like whatever. It could be more protected.
Still jerking back.
It could be more protected than a German, whatever. But the idea of a V trigger, everybody and their neighbor in AEW does super kicks. And then
One-winged angel.
One-winged angel is a packet, like a little package thing. It could, there's some things could happen in between that slam and in his region that we don't see. But the idea of, you know, again, he just also, maybe it's also because of they're pushing him too fast. I don't care about his name. I don't care that you have now to say the American Dragon. It does not, because I know him as Daniel Bryan, the yes man. Not saying it's bad, but the idea of he was not a microphone guy unless he's yelling at Kane for no. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of Kenny, who you might not like his microphone, but the idea that I think he has a step higher than Daniel about microphone work, and then you already propelling him up to the big leagues of a championship. I don't think it's a good move. No matter what you say of people going like this, that became second nature with fans. It's not because of, you know what I mean? I did the fucking yes at my Raw show for Shane. It's not, Daniel Bryan wasn't there. We were just like, fuck yeah. That's the thing now. That's how the promotions use, so that we're talking to the fans so we know that they're doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
And is Daniel, let's say we take Daniel, we put him against Adam Cole. Yeah. Are we going to hear "bay bay"? Or are we going to hear "yes yes"? Because go back and watch it, fans. If you think I'm wrong, Adam Cole got 10 times the pop that Daniel Bryan did on Dynamite. Now on All Out, of course, here's dun, 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 here's Bryan. That's hot. It's a big pop. And on the second week, his cheer was not as loud as Adam Cole's. It was Adam Cole. Adam Cole's style fits AEW more than Daniel Bryan's style. And I remember Daniel when he was the American Dragon. I remember him in Ring of Honor. I go back all the way back to the early mid-90s here. You don't know what people don't know him as that. Us old folk know him as that. People like you and even the younger people, they know, yes, that's what they know him from. So yeah, like you said, I
just think they're pushing stuff a little too close to they're propelling stuff a little early that, in my opinion, are, it goes into like that whole, we are trying to be different than WWE, but you're doing WWE tactics right now. Not, this could be a 1 month fluke thing that we're doing, whatever. But I just say tread lightly, because there's a lot more people in the back room of the AEW roster that I think needs a push before Bryan Danielson, who has been stated in front. He goes, I want to do some Japanese matches. So why are you promoting him here so that he can walk away like every other fucking storyline that has been happening? It's these plot hole hoops. So just the idea of get him in and let him do the work. Like I said, get him in. Who would be a great, the Adam Cole thing, but also that it goes into Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan had a match on SmackDown. So whatever. Get him. You could have Bryan Danielson could have been, instead of breaking up the Dark Order, you could have Evil Uno trying to promote him into the Dark Order. And so we can have a dragon in the Dark Order. And then that could have just went through. We do the whole original Dark Order style. All right, we're gonna fight Stu this week. Nope, we're gonna fight Evil Uno with Dan, or because Daniel Bryan is so strong, you could have done a 2-on-1 Dark Stu and Evil versus Daniel Bryan, and then we can slowly do, like, you could have had him do 2 against 1 of John Silver and his partner, and then let him walk up to 10 because 10's the big guy. And then just slowly do it like that and gives them win after win and show them put in the work. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't know about Bryan Danielson right now.
Yeah, the jury's out on him still, I guess, for both of us.
He's a narc.
The main event, and he's a narc. I got to look up the name. Main event time, Mox in his hometown against Minoru Suzuki. Stiff match, Japanese style match. I'm going to say it again. I don't know who that fucking guy is. I don't care enough to watch video who he is. No offense to him. don't know why they're doing that. Could have had Mox against Daniel Bryan. There you go. Or had Mox. Daniel Bryan wants to fight these guys. Put him against this one here. Showcase his Japanese skills. But the match was stiff. It was a New Japan style match, pancreas style match. Mox wins. I mean, what are they going to bring in a fucking guy to have Mox do a job to him? Wasn't going to happen. It was short. I think what's 7 or 8 minutes.
I think it was good that it was short.
Yeah, it was a stiff match. Mox comes down to the ring. He panders to the hometown. Yeah, wild thing. Which crowd aren't really singing wild things, so we might want to rethink that a little bit. But to me, it was throwaway. It was, here's Mox in his hometown. Let's get him in a loud pop against this guy that works stiff. Maybe you and I are idiots. We don't know who this fucking guy is. The rest of the world seems to, but
well, I mean, yeah, I don't watch New Japan, but I understand, like, they even said it 19 months ago or something. Moxley and Suzuki had a match, so it's kind of like the round 2 or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I know it's a big thing. Even there was videos of CM Punk actually did come back out into the crowd to watch that match. I'm like, okay, no, I get it. He is also, it's like one of those ideas of he is a still wrestling legend for New Japan. He's grandfather pain or some shit, whatever. But I think it was an all right, because it kept it nice, short and sweet. There's a little bit of blood. Let's get out of here. And then you go get, because after Rampage, obviously Mox came out to help Pillman. There was a part on the video goes, you know what time it is? Skyline chili time. And everyone went, woo! I get it. I get you're in Cincinnati, you're at home, but like, I don't know if it's, Ohio's the worst. I hate Ohio, the state.
Then you're tailor-made for GCW. The main gang is from Ohio, 44 Ohio, and the whole crowd chants, fuck Ohio, fuck Ohio. You're tailor-made. Come on. You got to start watching.
I'm from Michigan. That's why.
Hey, you can see GCW's tailor-made for you. GCW plug all the way. I thought it was a good show. It was a better show than we've had the last few weeks. It was very interview heavy, but I thought it was a good show.
Yeah,
it was more like the AEW of old, so to speak. I still miss Daly's Place. I'm gonna harp on that, but I did like the show. It was a nice show after a pay-per-view to show you, here's some stuff from the pay-per-view, here's the fallout, here's where we're going. It was very nicely paced. It needed the interviews. I liked it. I thought it was the best. This is the best show they've done since we started this, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. I do. That's one thing I like about AEW and a lot of wrestling. I do like when I do like being there day one. Like, so this week is day one of the new storyline gimmick. Like, what is going to be walking towards us. Some views can go all the way up to Full Gear. AEW does a really good idea they do really good of, like, we'll give you a good 3-week story bout or 4-week, something that doesn't have to be pay-per-view, and we'll just settle it on the show, and you'll get either we get an end result or a lingering result to go towards a pay-per-view that could be months from now. I know Full Gear's in November, but that idea, I think they do a really good shot. And this is definitely, you are not missing out, but the idea of you are missing out on the little things, because we're on now a brand new story world of AEW because of the pay-per-view that happened.
And then we go to Rampage. I liked Rampage this week too. I'm gonna say it up front. We have the match. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say in advance. This was the setup for woo, but we open hot because Pac couldn't get into town. And so now they moved Pac, and you said before the show, much better idea. You have Pac versus Andrade. Now I was a little on the fence on Andrade, but Pac is so good. This was one hell of a match. I mean, these guys, Pac's one of the best in the world. And I wrote it down, fans. My man, Mark Henry, was tearing it up in the things he said. Now, he don't say much, but what he said counts. And Mark Henry said, and this is a direct quote, win. To explain, let's say this is Andrade. And Andrade jumps off the rope and he spins himself around and doesn't move. Mark Henry's exact quote: "He turned a complete turn in the air." Great. Fucking, you can't get any better announcing than, don't call it a corkscrew, don't call it a fucking set, don't call it anything. He turned a complete turn in the air.
These guys can go for hours.
Oh, that commentary is, I'm buying a Mark Henry shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees, ProWrestlingTees.com. Has a lot of Mark Henry shirts. This match was great. I mean, they hit everything. I love that move where he had Pac, like it was like in a tree of woe, but he's hanging to the outside, and Andrade climbs, jumps, fucking, stomps. You can see kind of missed a little bit. Thank God he could have killed him. Does that like big stomp. Pac hit. God, Pac hits moves I don't even know what to call. I mean, I'd have to go the old school Vince McMahon and just say what a maneuver. These guys tore it up. I mean, it was had to be a good 15-minute match. It never slowed down. It was a lucha style mixed with the Japanese style. It was I can't praise it enough. It was I don't know if I'd say 5-star, but it sure shit was a 4-star match these two had. It was great.
I agree. And so that people who didn't hear, I think they did a really smart idea. They of course could put more glitz and glam on a pay-per-view, but this was a perfect Rampage match. Like I'm actually not mad now that I missed this for pay-per-view, because the pay-per-view was so full. This match would have been you would have been so diluted you wouldn't even remembered it. It was a really great spot on Rampage. And he turned a whole turn in the air. That move fucked me up for a second. Like, what the heck is it? Like a weird barrel roll in the middle of the
it was a weird move.
And
why is he wrestling fucking suit pants?
That's another thing too. Like, there was a moment
belt off and whip the fucking guy with it. Even my son was like, why is he wrestling in dress clothes? It's like, it's Andrade. I don't know.
I really don't know why he's doing that gimmick right now. Cause I think there was a moment when he was in NXT, he was in tight or in underwear. So I don't know, but he made luchador moves in dress pants. It was very impressive. I'm like, whoa. And then there was one spot I saw that Pac did his little moon. I want to call it a moonsault. It might not be called a moonsault. And he hit his head on the fence, and it looked like he got knocked out. I'm like, oh. And the fucking ref's like, come on, guys. Like, hey, I'm not going to count to 10, but come on, let's get out of here. And then luckily, it did so well on Rampage. It made me interested to know why Andrade punched Chavo at the end, because of cheating, I'm assuming.
That's what I'm assuming. But now, who's the one guy that's with him? Not
I
Chavo.
don't know.
The other guy that's with him, and I've seen him in the interviews, and forgive me for not knowing his name. Like, I guess he's like a consultant or something. He jumps on the apron and he's got a fucking taser. And
he pulled a Scott Hall.
Dumb. They're like, what is that? What is that? Well, the ref goes to throw him out. Chavo comes in. This iPad must have been made of fucking lead, because an iPad weighs about 3 ounces, and he comes in and he cracks Pac with the iPad, which wouldn't knock out a baby. He gets rolled up, he gets pinned. Lucha Brothers come out. Now there's a big mess around going around, and the little stooge guy is telling Andrade, he's like, hey, he hit him with the iPod. He hit him, or the iPad. He hit him with the iPad. And then Chavo's like, yeah, I did that. And Andrade beats him up. And then Pentagon and Phoenix beat him up some more. And that's why I said this was the setup. And Meltzer, and I don't think Meltzer's fucking gospel of wrestling. I never did, but I agree that here you go. This Chavo sucks. He was a terrible manager. Like you said, I'm assuming the whole thing was, I don't want to have to cheat to win. And that's when, his soon-to-be father-in-law, Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair's posted videos the last 2 weeks, him with Marco, him with Orange. He was at the All Out show. Tony Khan was talking about how it's his bestest friend in the world and all this pandering shit. There you go. That whole thing to me was, let's dump Chavo and get Rick in.
Yes, but also, like, again, that's why I'm a little lost, because I'm trying to figure out, you beat up Chavo because he did a dirty move, so you're gonna get the dirtiest player of the game as your manager, which that's the only part I don't understand. And then also it just threw me off guard. I wish the announcers actually talked about the taser, even like do a little thing. Is he gonna pull the fucking old Scott Hall tase Goldberg fucking moment?
Yeah, the cattle prod, he fucking nailed Goldberg.
But it just, I don't know. It was just really again, better on Rampage because we had to assume this idea was going to be the end result at All Out as well. Like we're going to have a taser moment on the pay-per-view. No, it worked better at Cincy. Cincy sold it just fine. But
here's you want my other opinion of why they got rid of Chavo? And people can say I'm being an asshole, but trust me, everyone's going to agree. Chavo Guerrero Jr. could wake up today. And I told my son this morning. Chavo could wake up today and all at once be blessed. And Chavo's talented, but he could wake up today and be blessed all at once. God will have made him the greatest talker in the history of wrestling. He'll be the greatest wrestler in the history. He will be the most talented man in the world. He won't be Eddie Guerrero. Chavo will always be in the shadow of Eddie. All these years after Eddie's passed, Chavo really, he could be the greatest thing ever. And everybody be like, it's Eddie's cousin. Yeah, he's no Eddie. And I really think that's what, nothing against him. That's why I think he translated so much to behind the scenes roles, which he seems very good at. He's not Eddie. And and I think what hurts him is all these companies try to book him, even with Andrade. I didn't know how would I know he was on American Airlines? I don't know anyone on American Airlines. The whole cheat thing. It's Eddie shtick. And you're not Eddie. You know, I mean, I know you're a relative. You're not Eddie. That's how I think a lot of people of my age see him. Is like, oh, look, it's not Eddie. So, Ric Flair, I want to see him in the ring, but Flair's Ric Flair. I mean, who wouldn't pop if he walked past like Tully or Arn in the back and whoo, I mean, it fits. But like you said, so this guy, if he's so mad that this guy cheated for him, why didn't he yell at the stooge with the fucking taser who was going to cheat? Why are you going to be managed by, like you said, the dirtiest player in the game? But were you watching AEW when Flair was with Charlotte?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, it was great. Flair was perfect out there. I remember in the one, it was a WrestleMania 3-way. I can't remember which one. And I think it was I think Sasha maybe, and Ric Flair grabs her and he gives her a kiss, woo, and all that, to distract. He was perfect. He's perfect as a manager. He's Ric Flair, for God's sakes. I won't knock him, but yeah, what, you're going to get rid of not Eddie because he cheats, but bringing Ric Flair? I know. I think that's why they got rid of Chavo. I think it was just after a few weeks, it's like, it's not Eddie. My opinion, I don't know.
There's probably some things that go on. Maybe even Chavo was just does. I'm not saying he has a busy fucking schedule, but I'm just saying maybe he just doesn't have any more time to be on camera. I don't know, but
I think he works backstage.
Chavo, I didn't even know Chavo was part of the AEW crew until this whole surprise. Andrade has a manager. That's not Vicky.
And see, that was stupid because I love Vicky. Vicky, I hate to ruin the gimmick for everybody. I've talked to Vicky. I had a long interview with Vicky. Vicky is the sweetest, nicest human being you'll ever meet. I mean, I will go on record and say I have never in my life met a nicer, kinder, sweeter woman in my life than Vicky Guerrero. But she is a great heel. That fucking shrill voice, the excuse me, she is. I don't look at her and say not Eddie. I see Vicky. She is amazing. They should have just left her with Andrade. I mean, that was perfect. I had no problem with it. But yeah, then all at once she's gone. They didn't say fired her. She just wasn't there. And now her brother-in-law, Chavo, or nephew-in-law, takes his place. It was real stupid to begin with. It just didn't. And I still never got with the whole, why are you working for Pac? They don't work for him. It was, I don't know. The one thing I forgot that we didn't mention, they did an interview with Penta and Phoenix on Dynamite, and obviously they don't shower because Penta still had blood all over him from 4 days prior.
I think wasn't it just a edit, like a video package?
I just noticed that. I was like, hey, look, he didn't shower. But anyway, yeah, I don't. Match was great. The finish didn't make a lot of sense for what the buildup will probably be. But yeah, like you said, you're mad at a guy for cheating, and now you're going to get the dirtiest player in the game to be your manager, which I'm pretty sure that's a accurate statement that he'll be there sooner than later.
Yeah, great match. But again, if that was the outcome, that was, they must have prepared the outcome a while ago. It would not have set good. It would have been a good buy-in for all out, but they were planning on putting this on the real pay-per-view. It was the best decision to make it on Rampage. And then the next, get your lotion ready. It was a good trios match.
Because like we say, the formula, men, women, men. And yep, you had DMD. Is it Rebel? I mean, because I know it's Reba, but
it's
not
Rebel, not Reba.
Not Reba. So I'm gonna say what these women are. All three of these women are beautiful. I mean, a man talking beautiful. Three beautiful women. Hater, Rebel. I'll call her Rebel. That way I won't fuck up. And DMD against Statlander, beautiful. And then her two partners. I won't throw that on them. Soho and
Rio.
I do like Cornette. And it was a great match. Statlander is a fucking powerhouse. I wish she would have been in the ring more than Ryu, but oh man, these three ladies tore it up. That was a hell of, and I don't compliment the women matches that much. This was a great match.
Yeah, no, it was good. They even had like a more indie promotion part when they had Rio as a backpack for Chris Statlander to do these kicks to Rebel. Rebel.
You can't fuck it up if you say Rebel.
But it was, and then but yeah, it was a really good match. I think also, what was it? I think they did a really good. I'm not saying Soho was gas, but the idea of this was recorded at the same time as Dynamite, and then just to have a nice little, really nice little trios, because it wasn't long. Again, Rampage way of perfected it, because we also forgot we got the rebuttal from Darby and Sting, which causes the Dynamite match of Darby versus Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears hit his move, looked like a redneck doing his jumping up to do a heel click. I'm like, yeah, and then dropped Darby onto the fucking ground. I'm like, whoa, that's like, it just looked too characterized for that.
How fucking dumb is Sting? Like, I get Tully's distracting you. The guy is like, he's 2 feet behind you. You can't hear the commotion or the whole crowd yelling, and he's like, that's right, your boy got taken out. Just like we planned it, Shawn. It was like, whatever. It set up a match, but I liked in the trio match. Sometimes I don't give them credit. The right person got pinned. You can't have Hater pin because she's in a push. You ain't gonna have DMD pin, not yet.
Not yet.
Because if she's gonna get pinned, it's got to be right before a pay-per-view. Like, she beat her once, can she beat her again? Rebel getting pinned. I like her, but she's Brit Stooge. That was the woman that needed to take the pin, and she did. And I love Statlander. She is just fucking fire to me. And like I said, she's bigger than the other girls, but she's not China big, but she's strong. Right. I mean, she had package pile drivers, power bombs. It was just, like you said, it was an indie feel, but it was a nice, good little match. And I really will. This is probably a women's match I'll praise it very high. I really liked it.
And also, compared to the other spectrum, well, we're getting mad about Daniel Bryan and not having at least Ruby has done now at least 2 matches, and she did the pin for this one. I know it doesn't count for the stats, but the idea of they're at least keeping that, do the work at least better on the women's side than they're doing on the men's side at the moment.
I want to see her fight Rebel again. I want to see her have a few matches with Hater. I know she's automatically the contender to Britt, Fine. That's November. That's the Full Gear match.
Yeah.
Let's have her fight these other people
I
first.
bet you money she will. And I bet money we still got some time. Ruby's going to have her AEW Dark debut like everybody has done. Besides CM Punk. CM Punk has went on there to talk. He has not matched yet. But Moxley has done dark matches. Everybody's done a dark match. So there will be sooner than later. We'll have the Ruby debut. And I feel bad for Kira Hogan because most likely she's going to be the one who gets stomped by her, even though Kira won her first match after now she's 1-4. but I digress.
Then we go to the show should have fucking ended. We go to Max Caster. I like that guy. You know, I don't remember his rap is funny. I'm gonna go on record and say John Cena when he was the rapper was better, but I like how Caster comes out and he does his little rap. And then as he's getting ready to cuss, I think yesterday's word would have been shit. You know, his partner stops him. Whoa, you're on thin ice already. I like that they referenced that. And he fights the hometown hero. And now the Pillman family has now changed clothes because they're all now in different clothes. That makes no goddamn sense to me. Here comes Brian Pillman Jr. Got like his dad when his dad was a baby face. He's clapping and all that and fucking mullet flapping in the breeze. And they say he's wearing his dad's clothes. And I don't know. And they have to make him sympathetic. You know, like his dad died when he was only 4 and all this. And I'm gonna tell you what. No one cared. I'm not the only one saying that match didn't need to be on there. That hometown crowd, he played to him the whole time, which he should if you're a face. They didn't give 2 shits. The best part of that was when Mark Henry said beforehand, okay, Brian, what do you got to say? And then he went, the time for talking is done. After that, ended because the match was nothing. I mean, they didn't work that great. You had a tag team guy fighting this guy. They got no feud. They got nothing to do with each other. Here's a guy just hot off the angle with MJF with his. I figured he'd fight MJF for God's sakes, but no. Max Caster. That's out of all the fucking people, nothing against him. That's who he fights. This was an elevation match as a main event on Rampage. The crowd didn't care, and for some reason, I want to know how the Pillman family changed their clothes. And then at the very end, okay, you're the hometown boy. This is to get you over. Moxley comes down and makes the save, and they play his music, and everybody cheers Moxley. So it's kind of like, you got to wonder if it was like, God, nobody fucking liked this match is going nowhere. Hey, John, get out there. Get the crowd back, for the end. That's all I can think of, because what purpose did he have coming out? Why didn't they have this fucking guys? I figured it'd be his partner that would come out to make the save, at least set up a tag match.
It goes into there is some baggage between those guys because of the claim and the suspension. So I'll give them that. And these guys should have been able to go out because they've had multiple tag matches together prior. I do like that it was short. They also, I don't know if it's me. Maybe I just don't like Brian's wrestling style. It's just very more classic, but also like he's still learning, I guess. Maybe he looks a little.
See, I can't put that off against him. I know a lot of people will do that. This fucking kid worked in MLW. He's worked indies. He should be good enough by now to work a 5-minute fucking TV match without having to every move he did go, to get that crowd behind him. Like you said, that's 80s. That's old school. The Revival does 80s, but they don't do it like that. They just have that style. This kid was doing it. He was doing an 80s television match, and that's. I'm not.
Yeah, no,
I'm wrong with that. That's not what I'm wanting to see.
I don't know what the move's called, but like that over that top rope, like bulldog, except I think Castro was looking at him, so it's not technically a bulldog, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what his dad used to do.
Yeah, and he just had maybe it's because Brian's a lot. To me, it looks like Junior looks a lot thicker and wider than his dad. So it just looks blocky when he's in the air. Like he should keep those feet on the ground. And like you said, I know Wardlow smacked the shit out of his partner on Wednesday, and that's why the Pillmans came back with new shirts because it's been 2 days. 2 days, but but um, it was an all right 5-minute match, but I think they could have both done a little bit better. I don't know about Caster because also I'm assuming Pillman knew that he should be leading since he's face and he was the hometown. You're the one running the show. So you can, you know what I mean? It goes both ways. They both kind of was but like who is more to blame on like, oh, it's a little rocky because Pillman is the hero going like this and all that stuff. So, but
his dad didn't pander like that. Like his dad's claim to fame. You didn't watch a lot of Brian Pillman.
No, but I was just starting his Dark Side of the Ring, which is I don't think is always a good idea to do that because of it gives you into the dark like it is. It gives you more of a hey, remember he's not like no offense to him, but like the idea hey, he has some drug problems.
Oh, he was completely fucked up. But the thing is he worked there. Now when he was Flying Brian, I liked him. I had his shirt. Here's the thing. Flying Brian was flying when there was no lucha style. And to be honest with you, Tuco Scorpio was in WCW at the time. Scorp was doing about a million things that Brian Pillman couldn't hope to mimic. Flying Brian, the flying was a high cross body that Ricky Steamboat did, and a top rope bulldog, and maybe sometimes he would do a little springboard if he was with Liger. He was small. So you could put him with a Jushin Liger when they were trying to do like their cruiserweights, which fucking Raven was a cruiserweight, is Scotty the Body. You know, it was just, it was dumb. But Ric Flair liked him. So he was elevated. You know, he was in these matches. Now, when he became a bad guy with Steve Austin, they were very good. Then when he started doing that whole, I'm crazy. I made Bobby Heenan say fuck on TV. I'm up here and in the crowd and I weaseled my way out of this contract. I went to WWE. I'm the crazy man. That's when he got over. When he was flying, he was a good guy, but he still wasn't that good guy of yay like that. But he was never a high flying man, contrary to what historians would like you to believe. He wasn't. You put him with Jushin Liger. Like, you put me with Jushin Liger, I could look like I flew because I'd have to do a couple of moves. They might not be good. They wouldn't be good, but Jushin Liger make me look great. But
for your benefit, I didn't even know that he was a high flyer.
But he wasn't. But he was.
I know.
They called him one.
I just knew him as the guy I just knew the gun sequence. That's all I knew before even Dark Side of the Ring. Just a guy who had a bout with Steve and then they caused a controversy. That's all I knew, but also I didn't even know the guy's name when I saw that as a kid. I just saw a guy go to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I like that. I know a lot of people kind of shit on that angle. I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. It was like Austin 316 meets Pillman 9mm. And I liked it, but and I mean, you know, I liked how the announcers, they did a good job. Oh, his father, you know, Jim Ross fucked up. He could have flat out said, oh my God, his father played football for the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, JR let me down. But, you know who should have ran out instead of Moxley? Christian Cage. Because the show always needs to end with that's Sue. And plus he runs out for everybody. But I liked Rampage a lot. I love the opener. I love the trios match. I love me some Mark Henry. This match. If I would have fallen asleep, I wouldn't have rewound it, to be honest with you. The match meant nothing to me. Hometown guy saved by a hometown guy that's more popular.
Spoiler, I didn't even watch it. I stopped because I had to go help my stepson with a email problem for a video game, and I hear stuff, but I didn't hear no crowd go woo. So I just watched the video before we recorded, and I was like, oh, I didn't miss much.
What video game?
He's 12, and he does not understand where emails are your gateway into accounts. So
same problem.
He makes it, and then he forgets the password, and then I have to play the hoop game of, oh, you made this, you never verified the email, so I had to retrieve that, then go make a new password, and then we got all set up. But then he got to play my Doom Eternal on his PS5. So yes, at the end of the day, he got it.
My son, he's 12, PS5 as well. Everything's under my email, my password, my name. So when he wants something, I can just go to the PlayStation app and it's done. I got tired of solving that problem that you had to yesterday quite a while ago.
I let him do like all that stuff because of for usernames, but yes, I do also that too. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have my PS5 as yours primarily, so you can just go through my library and download whatever you want. Because obviously, I'm more of a transversal gamer than you are. If I want Apex Legend, which is free, I'll jump to you, buddy. But like, no, I have all this shit, and then you can, but then he has to log in, and he's like, what's my Bethesda account? I'm like, you have a Bethesda account? Which he probably played a game before, and then I check his iPad for his email. I'm like, and I type in Bethesda because we're trying to get them to communicate with the iPad so we can do it. And he goes, I see one from probably a year, July of last year or something. Please verify your email. Oh, so it's been a minute. So yeah, well, we got it. It's all said and done. He got it. And that was more entertaining than, huh?
Does he beat you at games yet?
No. He also, no, I'll take that back. He would probably beat me in 2K, but also at the same time, he might get one game. Well, if I get the motions, I'll be up there with him.
Mine downloaded Madden the other 2 days ago. New Madden game. Good game. I mean, if you've gotten the last 5, no need to waste your money. Madden fucks you. Just like all those sports games, they just changed the little rosters. But he never played Madden before. He fucking watched football, and he wanted to play it. I've already been hit up for I don't know how much Madden money, but he says, "Well, do you know how to play Madden?" I'm fuck, I've been playing Madden since Nintendo days. I know Madden. I got all the old Madden games here. I turned that on. I lost. Call of Duty, that was always my game. I play him, I lose. UFC, I lose. I got to get my revenge. I got a lot of arcade cabinets. I got to get my revenge on shit like Galaga. I'm really old because it'll happen to you. Don't you worry. That kid's going to start whooping your ass in every game within a year.
He just started football, and he has Madden. Because I bought Madden for him for Christmas because, hey, $20. You want to, let's see if you want this sport game. And then I wanted to sit down and play some match so he understands, like, this is what he's trying to teach you. Like, here's the form. Like,
yeah,
you're probably going to be a wideout. So here's like the things I'm talking about. Like, I need you to work this route and understand you're going to, no matter what, you're going to go, all that shit. So, but yeah, I'd like to see it, but also I'm a big gamer. So it's like while he's progressing, I might be in a plateau, but I'm still, it's like a curve plateau. I'm old, but also not that old.
See, I don't play as much. I'll tell you what, what I play a lot? I play a shitload still. And we have PS4, 5, Switch. We have everything. But I like coming in my hole here, my basement. I play the Xbox 360 a lot. I mean, I guess I'm getting real old. I'm looking at my Marvel Superheroes cabinet, my Ninja Turtle cabinet, my fucking Pac-Man. I'm kind of more now. I got a pinball machine. I'm more into that. The new games I like I played is Devil May Cry, and I play WWE with them. I'll get the AEW game, but I don't know. Maybe I am getting real old. I was playing the fucking Wheelman and Wet on the 360. I still get a kick out of them. And you ask your kid, you want to play this? He comes down. You get about 2 minutes in. It's boring. I'm going back to Grand Theft Auto, and I will play me some Grand Theft Auto online. I do like that. I also know if people care about our video game things, and we'll have to do a special on the AEW game when it comes out, because I'm sure you're going to get it.
Yeah, I also like that this week they showed Jungle Boy video game footage of him going against Darby, and I know it's still rocky. There's some moments where like it cuts into like the scene that they're trying to sequence, but it looks fast. I like that. I'm hoping because of having Kenny in them. I hope they go closer to arcade style, just bring it, shut your mouth, know your role, all that shit, compared to the simulation. We don't need the simulated 2K shit.
It has a very Nintendo 64 WCW kind of look and feel about it, from what I can tell. Those are some good games.
They want No Mercy as the feeling.
It's a good game. But
we'll see. And hopefully, because Ukes was so tired of WWE, they actually put some heart and soul into AEW. But yeah, if I had a grade back to this week, it was a solid B+ of a week because of 2/3 of Rampage was good, so that boosted it up, and then it was a solid B for the whole Dynamite. B+ by itself. I think it gave a good stagnant B+ for the whole show.
And see, now when we get the AEW game, we can recreate Max Caster versus Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
And we'll recreate it. Me and you can recreate it, make it a good match. But no, AEW was really good this week. I'm like I said, out of all our shows, this has probably been the best one. I think next week, I get to see my man Darby in action, so I'm always happy about that. So no, I thought it was a good week. Good week to be a fan.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to see Adam Cole wrestle. I think it'll be a good match. Hopefully a good match. Hopefully it ain't no like gimmick one that ends up with the gang fucking coming and Cutler fucking spraying cool breeze on gas.
Hopefully it's good. Like I said, this was a good week. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. We keep going up, like, subscribe, help us get Tony Khan on here.
Yeah, we're trying to get Tony. We need more subscribers.
Yes, subscribe, people. Thank you very much for joining us again this week.
Good night.